Welcome back, knife nerds and everyday care people. It's your boy, the Big Canucker, and today we're going to rely on you guys. Hopefully, a lot of you guys will see this video. Now, I like to consider myself kind of an expert on, on pocket knives, folding knives, and stuff like that. But I have to say that one area where I'm extremely weak, and that is traditional folders. The Case, Shat Morgan, Queen City Cutlery, things like that, GEC. I'm woefully inadequate in my knowledge in that, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys. I ended up picking up 5 traditional knives here in just a big collection, and I've been kind of slowly trying to do some research on this, but I mean, the internet is so vast, and I think I'm going to call upon your guys' expertise. If you guys happen to be able to direct me to where I can perhaps do some research on this, preferably something a little easy to find rather than going through pages and pages and pages of stuff, I would appreciate it so much. Also, values. I wouldn't mind knowing kind of what these are worth if you guys happen to know. I know that you guys have got a lot of knife knowledge out there, and especially a lot of you guys like to collect those traditional knives. So it's kind of a little bit of maybe a treat too as well. It's not my normal thing, and I would love to get some information, you guys. So let's have a look at the tabletop and let's go through some of these pocket knives, and I will just give you an idea of kind of what they are, and then I'm gonna immerse myself in. Well, actually, I'm gonna bask in your knowledge, folks. So let's have a look at this stuff, and hopefully we get some knowledge. All right. So the first one I want to look at here is very, very simple one. It just looks like a nice case knife. Some of the stuff I know that these are American made. This seems to be, I guess, kind of a clip point knife. Now, this is not something that I've seen a lot in case knives, and that happens to be like, the cross guard. And that's something that all these except one have in common, is they have a cross guard. And I'm going to try to see if I can kind of clean these up a little bit. Now, I do believe that is kind of a jigged bone, but it also could be Delrin. And I do believe if you look behind there, it says that this is a stainless steel knife. So just an idea. This one here I could probably maybe look up a little bit. I just haven't seen these in a lot of pocket knives. So okay, let's put that down. She's got a 3.5-inch blade. Looks like these bolsters are kind of a nickel bolster. So I will, brass pins in them. I'm going to clean this up, perhaps kind of shine this up, or should I leave it alone? Like, should I not do that? I don't know about kind of collecting these traditional knives. Do people want to see that, or should I tidy them up? All right, so let's put that down there. Let's go with none that's a little bit more, I think, modern. And this one happens to be a Northfield UNXLD. This one also happens to be a really nice clip point. Now, I know that these ones happen to go in patterns. This one here happens to be the pattern, what have we got here? 641113. Now, I was able to find a little bit of information about this, and it just seems like same thing again, kind of a greenish jigged bone pattern. Now, the one thing I kind of remember from looking at a few videos on traditional knives is, I guess, a lot of these knife makers went out of business in the past, and their equipment was still in storage, and somebody had owned them, and I think GEC came along and said, hey, let's buy all this old equipment and let's start producing a high quality modern traditional folder, and people went bananas for it. So it doesn't seem like this is crazy sharp. Looks like it's got a nice real kind of polished edge. I like that. There's a little bit of kind of scratches in there in the finish. Again, should I tidy that up, or should I just leave it as it is? Now, if you're a GEC collector out there, let me know what you think this is about this knife, and something that perhaps maybe I should kind of put a value on it. All right, now we're getting into a couple of other ones that are a little bit weird, and I have never even heard of this before I started kind of getting into the knife business. But this one here happens to be a Shat and Morgan, or Shat and Morgan. This one here, I see this has got a pattern here, 04111L. Now, I don't happen to know if that one is like something that is like a pattern. It's an 041 pattern or an 11L pattern. Looks like it was made by Queen City 2000. Now I look on the other side and it's number one of 600. So does that mean there's only 600 of these produced? And if so, is that the number one knife? Is that something that's kind of like, because I don't want to, put this up online or eBay to, to sell. Because listen, truthfully, I can understand and I love the beauty of traditional knives. I think some of the stuff that people have done with these, I think it's been absolutely gorgeous. And they are kind of the forefathers of kind of the modern folder that we kind of carry right now. And I mean, this here looks like it looks like kind of a beautiful spear point blade with this kind of nail nick in it. I love this little shield. I don't understand why the shield is here without having kind of a design in it. You've got some brass pins in it. This again here looks like jigged bone, or is it Delrin? I love these brass liners. Like, it seems like every single one of them has got these kind of brass liners, and I just think it's gorgeous. I mean, I love the looks of them. I just don't seem like I'm going to carry these like I do my regular folders. There is one, though, that I do carry, and I'll show it to you. This one here in a leather slip. This one here happens to be just a case with this Delrin. I just love the shiny. As you can see, it's got some wear in it. This here, I love this little knife. This little case knife happens to be my favorite traditional folder. And I can't tell you why, other than I absolutely love the look of it. I love the feel of it. It's nice and smooth, and I'm a real tactile, or people would say I'm a kinesthetic tactile guy. I love the feel of it. That's why I carry this around. Goes in a little slip, like the leather slip, and goes in a little leather slip, and I love putting it in my pocket. But going back to this kind of Shatton Morgan here, it looks like it was built in Titusville, 2000, one of 600, a spear point. If you could direct me towards this, or just give me some information about it, if you guys happen to know, I would love to hear it. And if not, just enjoy the kind of little bit of traditional knifitude here. It just seems like this is the only one that doesn't have the crossguard on it. And this just seems like these would be, knives that were, I think, used, probably these patterns are from 100 years ago. And I can see something like this with this little crossguard big, just a great all-rounder Skinner, the self-defense kind of all-around blade. You know what? They knew how to make them back then. All right, we have got another one. So this one here says S&M knives, and I was like, oh my goodness, is this a sadomasochist blade or something? That's what I thought. And then I found out S&M stands for Shatton Morgan. Now, I may not even be producing that. I may not even be saying that right. But this one here, an S&M file and wire tested. I do believe this here is also Titusville, if I'm not mistaken. And this one here says F&W. Now, if I look at the front here, there's a pattern that's ever so faintly. It is, this says this blade is ATS 34 04121L 2007, I think. I've got bad eyes, folks. Total bad eyes. But this one here seems to be the sharpest knife out of all of them. And an ATS 34 to traditional, I think that's a fantastic steal for traditional knives. Usually they're, most of the time I've seen and looked around, they've been kind of 1095, or they've been kind of a stainless steel of say Case has got its own modern, stainless steel that they use, or they use a 1095. I know that Northfield uses a lot, but GEC uses a lot of 1095. And 1095, don't get me wrong, it's a high carbon steel that takes a wicked edge, that sharpens up like you would not believe, holds an edge decently well, especially for the what the steel is. I mean, it's not going to hold edge like S90V, I know that, but man, oh man, I just think that this is just a crazy good steel for a traditional folder. Now this one here, I don't know if that's bone. I think this is more like a Delrin, and it does have the S&M trademark shield on the front. It's got a crossguard, and the majority of these all seem to be backlocks, except there is one of them here. This Northfield is a mid-back lock, which is pretty neat. I didn't know that they made mid-back locks way back in the day. I thought they were more kind of a back lock thing. And then we've got, of course, one more here. And this one happens to have on the blade, it says Queen Steel number 361. It does say Queen City Co. on there, and I don't think it says anything back there. But again, another back lock with probably looks like another 3.5-inch blade. They all seem to be around that 8 inches long with a 3.5-inch blade. Now, whoever this collector was because I don't know who the collector was who ended up picking these knives out, but it seemed like he had kind of a style. There is, let me see if I can grab, I know that there's another one. I don't think I can find it off the top of my head, but there is a few more that have got, they're more, because they are carbon steel, they look like they're used quite a bit, and I might eventually bring one of those out too. And it looks like the carbon steel has got a real high patina on it. Let's see if I can find it. Now, this one here came from that collection. This one here I happened to buy, and this one happens to be a Solon Germany knife. Now, this one here I bought this off of Kijiji. Kijiji for, I think, $15. I was up in Calgary. I looked at it, and the gentleman told me that this knife belonged to a famous artist in California. And I have that written down someplace, but I don't remember exactly where it is. But you can see that it seems to be, there's quite a bit of difference here between, say, something and I know it's an entirely different knife. I mean, it's not going to be, this is more of a, I know that this one here is more of a Wharncliffe. This is not supposed to be round off, just the way the guy used it, sharpened it like that. But even the handle material, you've got, looks like little steel pins rather than brass. You've got a wooden handle with this little on it. It seems like a smaller, upswept, more of a kind of I can't remember what the heck you call those kind of swayback design. So it seems like more of a swayback handle. It does have its purposes, and I have used this knife here. It is sharp. It has got still a really, really heavy detent on it, or a spring on it. It's got that, I think they call that the walk and talk. 50, you've got yourself a stop position, and a lot of these ones, I don't know if they've got the stop position in them. Especially because these are not. Oh, they won't, because these are actually locks. They're not spring detent on them. They're actually locked, so I guess they wouldn't have that 50% spring detent on them. But they're just a set of really, really gorgeous traditional knives. I hope you enjoyed kind of having a look at them. Once I got some more information on these, hopefully you guys could provide me a couple of places to go to look at this stuff, do a little bit of research on this so I can, do these knives justice and kind of go over, have a history behind them. If you happen to know that, I would appreciate it so much. Just drop in anything you know in the comments, and any sort of links, I will check them out, and I'll make sure that you get yourself a little bit of a mention and some credit, because I do appreciate you guys out there. Now, please stay safe out there. Keep your stick on the ice. The shiny side up. This is the Big Canucker saying adios.